Hey everybody, Jason Loucks here from secretlender.com. A lot of times when people come to me, they're coming to me because they want to be able to tap into more deals, whether they want to do their first deals or they want to do more deals in their business, right? Some people are just starting out and they want to, get started out quickly, safely, and all those other things, and they need the resources to do so. Other people are coming to me and they're already doing deals and they want to do more deals and they want to make more money per deal and they want to jack up their business in every way they can. Well, one of the things that happens is when people want to escalate, to scale up the number of deals they do, whether they're just starting out or they have a few already, one of the things that really allows that to happen quickly is if they get access to the cash to fund their deals. In other words, if they have the funds and the proof of funds to make more offers, then just by the very nature of it, they'll do more deals. Well, the problem with that is they can get put through the ringer because there's a whole industry of people out there who are profiting from, beginners and people who are at the early stages of their business, trying to get funds for their deals. Like, guys like hard money brokers, hard money lenders, and even some people who call themselves private lenders. So to be really, really clear, I want to tell you, there's some serious limitations to hard money lenders and to certain kinds of private lenders. I'll talk all about that. But the first thing is, a lot of people say, well, I want to get involved in real estate, so I got to save up my pennies. I got to fix, for a down payment, I got to fix my credit. Well, the problem is, in real life, that doesn't work. It doesn't work for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons is banks just don't lend to investors like they used to. There was a time when banks lent, 90, 95% to non-owner occupied, which is a fancy way of saying investor. They don't do that anymore. So nowadays, straight out of Forbes magazine, they'll tell you damaged banks don't want to take on any loan that isn't 100% grade A. So they don't want to loan to, most of them don't loan to investors at all anymore. And the ones that do loan to investors are often, you need 20, 30% down. You need, the credit of a living God, a lot of different things. And most importantly, banks have what's called a mortgage cap. In other words, pretty much all lenders will only lend until you have 4 mortgages on your credit. Once you have 4 mortgages on your credit report, they won't lend to you anymore. So your maximum number of deals you can be working on at any time using bank funds is 4, which is not bad or anything, but it's just not enough to make this really happen. Certainly not enough to make a living. That's why you see career landlords who bought 4 properties in 30 years and had to work their day job the whole time because they can't get financing for anymore. The other thing that happens is banks don't lend on fixer-uppers at all. So you're locked out of like all those really excellent deals, those awesome foreclosure deals, those awesome vacant and abandoned houses, those fixer-upper deals. You just don't have access to them if you use bank funds because banks won't lend on those kinds of deals. So what happens is a lot of people think, they want to get started in real estate. They want to get started doing some of those, fixer-upper type of deals. And, but they need access to the proof of funds and the cash to close. Well, they go through this weird process where they start trying to jump through hoops of a lot of different people. See, and then once they figure out that banks won't lend, the next thing they try to do is they try to get a hard money broker or a hard money lender. Well, here's the problem with that. Hard money is just not what it used to be, okay? So it used to be that hard money was like almost like a predatory type lender, like they would charge high points and high fees, but they would only loan like 65% of the value of the property. And that's how it used to be, right? It wasn't even great back then, but it was really, really expensive, and they would only loan like a little bit compared to the value of the property, but they would loan to investors. Well, nowadays, it's not like that anymore. Nowadays, they want down payments. They call it skin in the game. They want you to have good credit. They won't loan to you if you don't have good credit. And sometimes you don't even have bad credit, you just have no credit, right? Because especially if you're at the beginning of your career, keep in mind what we're talking about here is real credit, like professional credit, not like your personal credit. Your personal credit isn't enough for anything in real estate, really, right? Hard money lenders also have a lot of shenanigans out there in the market. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of hard money lenders and hard money brokers. Just so you know, the difference is the broker knows the guy who has the money. The lender claims they are the guy who has the money. And most times they're institutional. In other words, they're a company that makes hard money loans. It's not one person's money. So one of the problems that happens with that is there's a lot of shenanigans that goes on. So there's a lot of times where, I've heard student horror stories where they go to work with a hard money lender, and the hard money lender says, okay, well, there's a $500 or $1,000 or $1,500 funding fee. And then they pay that fee and they never hear from the guy again and they can't track him down. Or they'll say, they'll pay the funding fee and then the guy will say, well, okay, but we only loan whatever, 65% or 70% or whatever their limit is. And you have to use our appraiser. And of course, their appraiser costs like triple what a normal appraiser costs. And when the appraiser goes out there after the student writes them a second check to their ridiculously overpriced appraiser who's given them kickbacks or works for them in their office or something, then the appraiser comes back with such a low appraisal that's like ridiculously low. Like the stories I've heard are like properties that are worth $600,000 and the guys come back with an appraisal for like $350,000. And they're just like every other property in the neighborhood. Or they come back with an appraisal at 50 cents on the dollar or something ridiculous. And the problem with that is, remember, if they're only going to loan a certain percentage, now your loan note doesn't qualify and you don't get your money back and you don't get your appraisal back, even though you know for sure, because you pulled the comps and everything, that it's a much better deal than these guys are saying. And it's their way of weaseling a couple $1,000s out of people. And I see students fall for that all the time. So my advice is avoid hard money altogether. You don't need in-betweeners. The solution to that is you want to work directly with private lenders. Private lenders are regular people who have investment capital, IRA, 401k, something like that. They're not in-betweeners. They're not jockeying for a commission. For the most part, they're not out there looking for you at all. They're not running ads to find you. They don't have big websites. They don't have funding forms and they don't have weird fees and stuff like that. They're just regular people who would rather invest in you, back your investments in real estate, get paid back with interest. And of course, if anything goes wrong, they get the property back at below market value, right? And so they have a investment that does better than stock market returns with some kind of a guarantee, which you can't get from the stock market, right? So they like that a lot better. And those private lenders are much easier to work with. You got to make sure you're working with the right kind of private lenders. But if you're working with the right kind of private lenders, they blow hard money away, okay? My advice, just avoid hard money altogether. If anybody's out there running ads or putting up websites or whatever, trying to get business, they're an in-betweener. And you just want to avoid them like the plague because of all the shenanigans I talked about. Hey, if the best case scenario of working with a hard money lender is that you overpay on points, you overpay on fees, and you overpay on interest, why would you even bother, right? This is the 21st century. You can find private lenders like that, okay? So that's my advice. Again, I'm Jason Loucks, the founder of secretlender.com. If you like this type of stuff, if this is what you're into, feel free to share this with your friends or whoever you think might benefit from it. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon.